Oh yeah, get the music going because this is the way it goes. We need the little napkin to twirl.
It's like that music is on, you just want to put your hands up.
There we go.
Real pleasure to welcome some great friends who live and work in Santa Fe at the Opal Way Center. It's Living and Working with Meaning. We have two very special guests today, Elaine Dundon and husband Alex Pattakos, and we welcome you both.
Thank you so much.
And this is Elaine.
Yes.
Yes.
And that's Alex. And the Opal Way.
Great.
Opa.
Opa.
That's a good way to start your morning.
That's right.
Yes. Opa.
Perfect thing for Friday.
It is.
I'm glad to have you both here. We've
We're
talked
glad
on the radio before, and I want this OPA spirit to permeate the studio today.
That's right. We want it to permeate the world, the universe.
Yes.
Good.
Good.
Well, it's a type of word, though, the word Opa. You can't say it without smiling and being happy with it.
Right.
So.
It's very uplifting. So, and we are talking about OPA, the Greek word OPA. We're not talking about OPA, Oma, the German version of grandfather, grandmother.
Oh.
So there is. So sometimes you'll hear this as being grandfather, being Opa, Oma being mother, grandmother.
All right. So Alex, OPA in Greek means what?
Well, that's the interesting thing here about this, because many people, when we think about the word OPA, of course, we think about My Big Fat Greek Wedding, we think about Zorba the Greek, and as Elaine's pointing out, it's very much of an inspirational, uplifting word, because you can't really say it without really feeling better about yourself. So one of the things we recommend is people get up in the morning and just say Opa, and just realize, life is good, life is beautiful. This is an opportunity for us to have a great day, rather than starting the day off in a negative mood. But the idea behind OPA, we've traced it back thousands of years to the writings of Homer in the Iliad and the Odyssey. And so the word OPA, actually in Greek, there are two letters that are in English O. All right, there's Omicron, which looks like an O, and then there's an Omega, like the Omega watch, and the capital Omega looks like a horseshoe. On the one side of OPA, the Omicron OPA, that's kind of that uplifting, spiritual, like really celebrate life. All right, that's the one you think about when we're dancing, we're breaking plates, we're eating baklava, whatever. But on the other side, the Omega side of OPA, which a lot of people don't realize exists, really is about wake up. It's look out for danger, look out for opportunities in our lives. Don't just kind of, let life go by like we're driving down the highway on cruise control. And so there's really two sides of OPA. And so we really want people to understand it's almost like the yin and the yang. We just came back from Hong Kong, and both of us gave TED Talks in Hong Kong. And part of it is the opportunity for us to realize that, we want to celebrate life, but at the same time, we also want to be able to understand that life is presenting us with opportunities, and including dangers, and we have to be cognizant and aware of those.
Right.
So.
Now you both come from different backgrounds. Elaine, you kind of have a corporate background, if I
well,
recall.
I say corporate, I say business, because I worked with a lot of small businesses. I've also worked in the government area, but yes, my beginning background was in the corporate world with the large companies, working in marketing and brand management.
And Alex, your background is what?
Well, originally I was in the mental health field many, many, many years ago. First as a patient, and then later on as a therapist. Because that's typically what happens. Most therapists were started out as patients. But the idea is that I ended up getting very much involved in politics because of the frustration. I have a very strong passion for mental health services. And so I got very much involved and frustrated with the lack of mental health care and mental health services. And I know, Senator Domenici, that's a big thing for him here in this state. And so I've been an advocate for mental health care for a long time. And so I got involved in political campaigns and so forth, and then got involved in government. And I became a political science professor on top of all that. So
what inspired the Opal Way?
That's a great question. That is the question of the century here, maybe the millennium. Elaine and I, both of us, have a passion. Elaine, wrote a best-selling book on business innovation. And then I had a mentor by the name of Viktor Frankl, who was a really well-renowned psychiatrist. He was a survivor of the Holocaust. And I know, Larry, you're familiar with him because we talked about him a while back. And so Dr. Frankl really wrote a really classic best-selling book called Man's Search for Meaning. And so the passion I had for meaning, bringing meaning in my life, in the people that I work with, became my personal kind of mission. Elaine's background being in business, I think she can share that, but her interest in business also was we want business to be meaning focused. We want to do things to help the planet, to help people, help customers, and so forth, so that capitalism and business doesn't have this evil connotation to it.
Yeah.
And so one of the days, one day we happened to be on many our trips to Greece. We were in Greece and we came up really with really this aha moment, which we now call the OPA moment. We realized that even, and this is prior to the crisis, but it's happened even since the Greek crisis, economic crisis, is we noticed that people were living life differently. I mean, they were just, the simplicity of life still was very deeply meaningful to them. There was still happiness, they were healthier, I mean, they were less stressed and so forth than what we were seeing in the United States. And so that OPA moment became kind of this notion, this challenge to us. How can we package that philosophy of living and working, and bring it back to North America, to Europe, to Asia, and so forth? And that's really was the impetus behind the OPA Way.
So really the foundation is about meaning in our life and meaning in our work. And so we took both our backgrounds and sort of our long and winding roads together and put them together and realized that there's so much we could learn from Greek philosophy and the Greek way of life that isn't just all about the OPA celebration, eating baklava. It's really, there's some very deep lessons that 25,000 years ago, the Greek philosophers taught us. Socrates, Aristotle, Plato taught us very deep wisdom that we could bring into our lives and into our work.
My impression is the Greek people are very practical people. They're also very outgoing people. I mean, visited Greece, and you don't meet a stranger in Greece. You know, they're all your friends immediately. Is that a fair assessment of?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think, you know, I mean, one of the beauties, and of course, you know, most viewers have seen the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Sure.
And we can all relate. It was funny, but we can all say, well, geez, that's my family, right? But the idea is that really, if you think about it, hopefully it is our families in the sense of the connection. And that's part of what we're trying to get at here, that welcoming. I mean, the whole notion of hospitality, which can actually be traced back to the Greek mythology, to the king of the gods, Zeus, is really about accepting and really caring for strangers. And so I think that is embedded in the Greek DNA. And so when you go and you look at, you know, any sort of true, authentic Greek experience, it is one of, they're not just, you know, friends, you're a family. I mean, you're all cousins. You're all, you know, you take care of you.
I remember getting hugged a few times.
You get hugged a lot, very much. And so I think that's part of what the Opal Way is about, and we can talk about specifically how we've broken that down. But clearly, that's part of the culture, and I think that's even in the crisis today, with the kinds of things that have been going on, there are still many stories Elaine and I could share of people having the minimal things to give and to share, and be willing to do that, and treating strangers, tourists, and so I mean, it's a perfect time to go to Greece right now. Because not only is it cheaper because of the situation, the economic situation, but it's a great opportunity for Greeks to show that, hey, you know, life goes on, and we're going to still treat you the way we've always treated strangers, visitors. You are friends. We're together. We're connected.
Yeah. So how do we use the OPA Way in our daily lives? I mean, is it just like being nice to people, talking to people, embracing others? I mean,
that's a good start.
Let me share. Alex shared two definitions of OPA. The first one being that let's celebrate life and be excited. The second one was look out for danger, or be more aware of what's happening in your life. We came up actually with a third definition for OPA, and it's really taking the letters O, P, and A as an acronym, and O stands for connecting meaningfully with others. So really thinking about how do we on a day-to-day basis really connect with other people? Or are we just going through our daily lives or through in our work lives at our workplaces just on autopilot and not really connecting on a human basis? And that's that whole concept of connecting in a village, thinking that how do we work with each other as members of a village? Are we being hospitable? Are we being good to other people? So that's the O.
Can I interject something on that? Because I think it's a very important point. That O is very important because that relates to this hospitality thing. Right. You know, we talk a lot about the village. We talk about it takes, you know, a village to raise a child. We talk about the global village, yet we don't treat each other as villagers. And when you think about people in the United States, you know, many of us can't even remember what is our hometown. All right. I mean, we don't know where to go. In Greece, people can always connect to the village. I mean, typically we'll ask people, you know, what village is your family from? It's very difficult for us because we move around so much and so forth. But even in the workplace, as Elaine's saying, I mean, we have managing by wandering around. So we have all these managers who literally don't know what their coworkers or what the employees, their associates do. They don't know their names. They don't know anything about their personal life. They're not really connecting on a meaningful level. We know people, we've worked with companies where people have worked together in the same building for 25 years and they don't know each other's name.
They
that
just
is
come
not
to
the
work.
type- yeah,
They
that's
come
right.
to work and they go into their office or into their
Yeah.
cubicle or their workspace, and they actually don't know that maybe the person sitting right beside them, maybe their husband or wife has cancer, and that's maybe why
Yeah.
they're upset, or that someone else is happy or not happy with their jobs. And so it's really to look at how do we connect on a human basis with each other.
We'll keep spelling OPA here in a moment.
Okay,
We'll take
okay,
a fast
We
time
did
out.
the O.
We got the O.
We got the O.
We'll go with P and A here in just a moment.